Hello, and welcome to this video on participating in the National Air Rifle League or National Air Pistol League game. I'm John Becker with Shooters Technology, makers of the Orion scoring system software and the Athena electronic scoring target. A little background about the league for those of you that are new or need a refresher. We run two separate leagues, multiple leagues over two separate seasons. There's a fall and a kind of a winter spring season. Fall is the main National Air Rifle League that includes sporter and precision athletes. That runs, preseason runs from late August to late September. The regular season runs late September to the week of Thanksgiving, week before Thanksgiving. And then there is a postseason that will run the week after Thanksgiving to just before Christmas break. So generally accommodates your school schedules very well. It is a 7 game over 8 week format. Sporter will shoot a 3x10 in the regular season. In the postseason tournament, they'll shoot a 3x20 course of fire. Precision, starting this year, um, again, is also that same 7 game over 8 week format, but this year we'll shoot a 60 shot standing for both the postseason and the regular season. Our winter and spring leagues that are Air Rifle New Shooter League and Air Pistol League, which is also open to adults. They can shoot in the Air Pistol League. All of our other leagues are juniors only. That will run from late January to early April. That is a 8 game over 10 week format. New shooter shoot 3x10, and air pistol will shoot 60 shots standing. The reason for the lesser number of games over an 8 week or 10 week period is you have the ability as a coach to request a bye week. We encourage you to get out a calendar and try and figure out when your school activities will conflict and request a bye week during registration. So we use what is considered a game. So let's talk about what a game within the league means. You will generally shoot 1 game each week, and that is defined, the week is defined as Monday through Sunday. Scores have to be turned in by noon Eastern on Monday. This will allow any clubs that will have their practice or shoot their match on a Saturday night or Sunday night or sometime when our support team is unavailable. But you should be shooting the match sometime between Monday and Sunday. Scheduling is done 2 weeks in advance, so you can check the website to see your schedule and see who you're competing against. All games are virtual. You'll fire from your home range against another team in your division. And all games are governed by the National Standard 3 position air rifle rules or USA Shooting air pistol rules. And all scoring is to be done electronically, either using Orion or Athena. There's some important literature to consider. You will have a league program, which will be available on the website. There's also range command scripts, which will walk you through each step as a coach or range officer, and these will be mailed to each registered team and will also be available on the website. We'll discuss that in a couple of slides. The rule books, again, are USA Shooting for air pistol or the National Standard National 3 position Air Rifle Council rules published by the CMP. At Orion, we believe there is a shared responsibility to make the best matches run smoothly. we each have a role to play. We, as the software developer, are responsible for making sure the software runs correctly, that we document the software, and we teach users to use the software. Coaches need to know how to configure Orion, how to keep Orion updated. You need to know your rule book, and then how to use Orion correctly. Couple of items to think about before the league gets started is have your athletes download Orion's mobile app. It's available both for iOS and Android, and once they create an account, they will be able to track their scores. Another item before the league starts is to make sure you have the latest version of Orion installed. Every time you open Orion, you'll see this welcome screen in the bottom right-hand corner. It will tell you if your software is up to date. If in this example it is, but if it needed an update, it would say there's an update available, and it'll show you what your version is versus what is currently the latest production version. Another item to think about before the league starts is to go in and clean up your database. We're coming up on a new school year, so you will probably be adding new shooters, new members to your team, or you may have team members that have graduated or otherwise moved on. You can set them up as favorites. So it's easy. It's actually the easiest way if you have the same folks showing up to your matches to not have to hand type all your team members. There's a link to a video about how to add competitors and set up favorites. I would encourage you, if you're not familiar with this, to go ahead and view that video. But you want to also make sure that you have each of your team members' email address, and that will link to their Orion mobile app account. This needs to be the same email that they used in creating the mobile app. So if it's a personal email or school email, just make sure it's the same one so they can get access to it. So now that you've done all that, there's a schedule posted and you're ready to go. It's really the coach's responsibility to schedule a time to shoot at a specific time. It's going to help your athletes prepare for the game, prepare for the match, to just not be surprised by, kind of a rash announcement that, hey, we're shooting this league match today. Um, so in our example, we're going to say we're going to shoot Thursday at 2 p.m. In our example, remember that is best practice and kind of convention is when we say we're going to shoot at 2 p.m., that means first shot goes downrange at 2 p.m., not that's the time to show up. So you need to convey that to your athletes that they should be on the range about a half hour before and start setting up. Another item to consider when you're scheduling is we completely understand that everybody has different size ranges and capacity and team sizes. It is perfectly permissible for part of your team to shoot a league game on one day and the rest of your team to practice or not not show up or whatever your schedule works out to be, and then have another day where a separate part of your team shoots the league game and likewise practice in this example. What is not permissible is to have the same athlete shoot the league game multiple times during the week. Unfortunately, we have found this in the past and had to disqualify teams. And in essence, they were trying to shoot multiple times and take the highest score for that athlete. That's not within the spirit or the rules of the league. Before the game, you will see again on your welcome screen in the top box, if you have a virtual game available, you will see it listed. You'll have your team versus that team for the week. There'll be a date for the week. Please make sure you're downloading the correct game for that week. And you will download it. Again, best practice is about an hour before the game. So just to make sure everything's syncing up with the cloud server and you have internet, you don't have internet issues or challenges that way. So in our example, if we're shooting at 2 p.m. on Thursday, we'd want to make sure you get the game set up, downloaded, and set up by 1 o'clock on Thursday. As far as preparing targets, probably the single best use of or best ease in preparing targets is to use barcode labels. It's recommended, it's not required, but it's really an easy way to get athletes' targets scored and scanned and take some of the burden off the coach or the stat officer. Um, if you're not familiar with how to set those up or how to print those, there's a separate video I've put a link into that you can review. So when you're ready to call athletes to the range, um, again, things have to follow for safety. So your range officer will need to call the athletes to move their equipment to the line at the appropriate time in the range script. Generally, that's 20 to 30 minutes before the start time. And then this is when you would hand out the targets to go um, be hung. It's also a good opportunity to read the welcome statement. We encourage coaches to exchange emails wishing the other team luck, and this might be a good time to read an email if you've received one from another coach. And again, in our example, we're calling the athletes to the line at 1:30. The range command script. This is going to run your match. You should follow it, by rules of the league. You need to follow the range script to the letter. Again, these will be mailed out to all registered teams. It's also available on the league website. If we go to the website, I'll show you where that can be found. So under the air rifle tab, if you scroll down, the league program is available here. The command scripts for either Sporter or Precision. You click on them, they'll open in another window. It's a PDF, so you can print them, download them. But again, multiple opportunities for you to have them and be available to find them. So as far as scoring targets, you must score your targets using Orion. You're not going to hand score and do it the old-fashioned way. We need them scored electronically. And best practice is to score them as soon as reasonably possible after they turn in their targets. You don't want them to shoot on Monday and not score them till Thursday. To use the auto score feature in Orion, it looks like a little play button. It's a triangle with a circle around it. That will start your scanner. If you need a refresher or need to learn how to do that, there's a link to a video on how to scan targets. Next step would be reviewing targets. Generally, what you're going to find at least in the air rifle world, is maybe an extra shot got fired, a sighter that slipped out of the sighting ring during sighters, or you missed the scoring ring completely for an inexperienced athlete. For air pistol, it's more common to find internal crossfires, or maybe you fire 6 shots on one bull and 4 on the next. There are times when you have extra shots fired and missed shots as well, but all targets need to be reviewed and any unusual incidents need to be resolved. Instructions and range command manuals and script will list how to resolve the most common issues. And just a reminder, targets are randomly reviewed for accurate scoring and correct application of penalties. Further, we need you to always make sure your results get submitted successfully. The way to check that is to open up the game page on Orion servers using the globe on the top bar. Will open a browser window and take you to that week's game or that match's game. And if you do not see scores, something is wrong. Make sure you have an internet connection. Make sure something we see fairly commonly is you may see a athlete or a couple of athletes. Make sure that they are added to a team. When you open the game after you download it, it's going to ask you if you want to add all your favorites. Again, that's the preferred, easier method, but during this process, adding all your favorites will add them to your team. Just a reminder, you can have as many people shoot. The software will automatically take the top 4 to make your team. So add everybody that's shooting on your team and then let the software do its job and determine who's the top shooters and create your team. But make sure everybody is assigned to a team. That's one of the most common things we see in folks reporting that their scores aren't connecting. And then an obvious one is make sure you have an internet connection at your range, or else you're not going to see the uploads. You're not going to see the verified results out on the web page until you get to a point where you have an internet connection. Couple of hints to success. Teams are only partially ranked by wins and losses. Please be sure to compete every week and avoid taking a did not start. In the league structure, a did not start is worse than a loss for league points. Please make sure you get all your scores in and check them on the website. Make sure scores are in and submitted by noon Eastern on Monday morning. And please don't get discouraged if you drop a game or two at the start. A win at the start of the season counts just the same as a win at the end of the season. Encourage your athletes that over the years, the best teams have worked hard and improved, and that's the way the league favors those teams. So practice, practice, practice. I want to thank you for listening in on the video. Thank you for being a client and registering for the league. If you have any questions, you can reach out to support during our normal support hours, either by email or calling the office. Again, thank you and best of luck to your team in this league season.